moments last a lifetime. This moment is brought to you by National Cream Crackers.
TalkUp Youth is powered by National Baking Company in association with Cranwata, a Stanley and Empress production, giving the youth a voice.
TalkUp Youth.
So come to know these youths and show these youths. Talk up yourself, the youths to know them roots. Nurture them, protect and love and hear these youths. Music make them know I love we show these youths.
Mr. Save the youth, not kill the youth. I build we come for build the youth.
TalkUp Youth encourages all youth to find tangible solutions for their issues. Are you ready for today's show? Today's topic is
I build we come for build the youth. Youth in action, Jamaica. We are
Build the youths them.
Youth in Jamaica.
A common issue for young people around the world is that of education and career. Are we learning the right things for a successful future? Am I going to get a job after all my educational expenses? Let us listen to what the youth are saying on this issue.
We have to build the youths them.
Youth in Jamaica.
Hey guys, so my issue with education and career is that it is completely and overly overrated. Now don't get me wrong, while education is important, it's not complete. You see, the school is a social institution, guys, that's supposed to teach us not only academic values, but norms and values of society as well. So it teaches us how we should behave when we go outside. Also, we live in a meritocratic society, which means that we live with rewards. So we learn our whole lives to do things to get something else. But after we spend millions of dollars and a quarter of our lives going to school, when we come out, is there anything for us to get? There are no jobs. We don't push entrepreneurship. So what really is the point, guys?
Well, my issue with the education and career system right now is that we're seeing where the current unemployment rate for youth is 38%. 1 in every 5 youth between the age range of 18 and 24 is currently unemployed and not even within school. And these unattached youth, they don't have access to education due to financial difficulties. The education expense is very high. Many students, after completing the GSAT examination, cannot afford to pay their tuition, cannot afford to even purchase their books, cannot afford lunch money. In addition to this, some of them who can afford, by the time they get to the grade 9 level, they cannot read or write. When students do graduate, there are no opportunities for them. Students need experience to get a job, but cannot get a job to get experience.
Great point, Sherry, but my issue with education is the fact that the curriculum tends to be too wide, and for most of the year we don't get to go through it properly, and most of what we learn doesn't help us majority of the times. Also the fact that there aren't enough schools, like in the rural areas where the uneducated rate is so high. The government doesn't put in place certain schools that are affordable for the people that live in the area so they can become educated.
It is perceived that technology will save our education system, but at the same time, a lot of our students and teachers are technologically illiterate. As well as there are no direct outlines of protecting our students while on these devices. I mean, not only can it be dangerous for them traveling with the devices, but also the things that they have access to on these devices may very well be to their detriment.
In the schools, the way that the schools are built, there are no rails for persons who have sight impairments. There are no listening mechanisms like hearing aids and so on. There are no ramps for wheelchairs and so on. There's also the issue of communication between students, parents, and teachers, and there's also the issue of, well, education is one thing, but otherwise relating to career, it's not everybody that has academics. Some persons are more practical. For the persons who are skilled, there's no channel for them to grow, and there's no way for them to learn and earn at the same time.
The subjects that we have to choose from truly aren't conducive to allowing us to achieve the jobs that we want to achieve. It seems like the subjects that we have to choose from also streamline us into specific careers. Ask any students, even on this panel, what they'd like to be. It's either I don't know or 3 specific careers that I probably will go into later. Also, there is the fact that what happens after the CSEC examination. You say a student doesn't go past the 11th grade. What exactly do they have to look forward to in terms of finding a good job? If they did subjects that
we're technically not up to date with the direction our society is heading towards. Finally, what about students that want to move on to university? If they do not have the means and systems aren't in place for them to achieve those means of getting to university, especially in something like finance, what happens to those students? What happens to our society later on?
And there's also the issue, let's not forget that the fact that you have persons who are qualified that went through the whole process of making sure that they are qualified to get a job. And when they do apply or choose to apply for one, they don't get through because they simply don't know the right persons. So in other words, in Jamaican terms, if you don't have the right link, you're not get through.
Okay, we're gonna take a break and when we come back, we're gonna reason about the issues.
We have to build the youths there.
Youth in Jamaica.
This is Kevin too swayzy. This is Kevin too lazy. We'll take a break.
Take 3.
National Baking Company. Quality Jamaican product. Yo! Cheesy boards, the picnic, I gonna love them here. It's like a more popular than hopscotch and video games. Now this made with real cheese. They like cheddar grenades. It's like somebody set up a cheese war in your mouth.
It's shockingly cheesy.
Cheesy boards. Energize your taste buds. National Baking Company, made for Jamaicans by Jamaicans.
It's a WOW scholarship. Cranwata, in association with TalkUp, donates 3 $100,000 scholarships to 3 deserving youth to enhance their educational and professional development. Cranwata supporting youth with WOW scholarships. Water with WOW.
So after a good interview, properly attired, and my papers have what is required, them say me need experience to get a job. For hear that, me tired. It's full time me get a fair choice to fulfill my career choice. To say this in an interview, probably I don't have the authority, but I'm gonna say this for the majority. Hopefully you could change this policy. No one went to school to work for a charity. Talk up youth, myself a talk up youth.
We have to build the youths there.
Youth in Jamaica.
So first and foremost, Sashana, you mentioned something about links, basically, and how if you go through school and you don't have your links, you can't get a job. But really, like, that is the mentality of a lot of Jamaicans to think that. Think about it. Or rather, we have this sense of entitlement. Like, if I go through school, if I went to the best high school, if I went to the best prep school, the best college, if I did the hardest subject, then I'm entitled to a job. Really and truly, someone will get chosen over you for the simple fact that they got up, went out, and networked. It's about going out and meeting those people. Links make sense for the simple fact that if someone knows you, they're going to choose you over someone they've never met. If they've seen your skill set, they'll choose you over someone they've never met.
In other words, you're saying that it's okay because I did not have the opportunity to go to a workshop at Pegasus, I'm qualified, but because the person met you before, you're entitled to the job, regarding to your sense of entitlement. Because you networked, you're entitled to the job and not based on the fact that you're qualified enough and should have been given a chance.
In human nature, it's more likely for you to go to the person that you know, not because her parents and the persons are friends, but because she met the person before, and it would be human nature for the person to be further attracted to someone that they met before and they've already liked than for somebody new.
So in this case, it's going to be a case of because I'm familiar with you, I prioritize with you?
Yes, that's exactly it. Because if you put the effort to go out there and network and meet the right people and to show yourself around to exactly what you want to do, then you do deserve it because you put the work in. Ironically, a senior government official of the Ministry of Education spoke to me at an event and she goes, Tristan, you know what's true? What you know doesn't get you a job. It's who you know. You need to go out there and network. And it's not the mind frame of a link, but it's going out there and proving to people that you know what to do. Because we have a lot of educated fools out here, to be very honest with you. You need to prove to the people that you know what the paper, the degree says that you know.
Cree, right? If I know something, if I go to a job interview and I know what you want me to know, right? But yet say you know somebody, right? And maybe they're, probably a little underqualified than me, right? it's not right to give them the job, just because you know them or they networked better than me, because I know what you want me to know. Probably I even know more than what you want me to know. You know what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying, but we live in a world where the image of the company is every single thing. Going out there and networking with the CEOs and the corporate executives of the companies proves to the people that you can uphold their image.
Let's go to address where you come from. You guys fit into any society, anywhere you go. I can't judge you based off your address or anything like that, or what, but based on how you were grown, you're fit for networking. You have some persons where it's after they completed high school or during high school, they got a chance to learn to really socialize. I'm in a wheelchair. It costs money to travel. I cannot afford it. I don't know anybody who has it. How am I going to go out there to network? And I am qualified. I can't afford a smartphone. If I do, someone does give me a phone, I don't have a job or I don't have somebody to give me money to go and buy a phone card to say that I'm going to put on data. I am not financially stable to do that networking. And because I don't have the money to network, I won't be able to get a job to earn some money.
I definitely agree with your points. And I do understand where Shoshana is coming from, especially because we're from similar backgrounds. However, the fact that you're saying that you have to network or you have to know somebody to get a job is definitely a wrong way to go about it, because not majority of the youths here, they don't even get to that level where they can say they have that education or they have the access to education to even reach out to some people to network. And some people, when you are from certain communities, when they hear your address, they don't necessarily want to associate with you. People, sometimes they can't even afford education to even reach to a certain level to go out there to network with people. And sometimes they have low self-esteem to reach to that level to even meet with a CEO.
Right, so I'm sorry to cut you, but as Alan said, Cree, because I don't agree with anything you're saying. Reason being is because I have a personal problem with people trying to use excuses. And I'm not negating your problems, I'm not saying you don't have problems, but my mother always preached to me, it's never where you come from, it's where you're going, right? And the reason I'm telling you this is because my family worked themselves up from a small farm in St. Mary. My mother moved from St. Mary to Kingston, and we're in a very comfortable life because she pushed her way out. Never blame where you're coming from for where you're supposed to go or why you're in a certain situation. Your disability, I know you have a disability, we can see it, but one of the top legal secretaries at the White House, a Jamaican, has a physical disability. I'm not saying that you don't have a problem, but I'm saying don't use it as an excuse. Using money to go and network, you don't need money to network.
Really?
You don't. Because I work with KSAC right now, not necessarily work, but I head a youth-led organization in there. It's Youth Advisory Task Force. 95% of the youth in KSAC's Youth Advisory Task Force come from inner city communities and volatile communities.
And?
They went out and found out how they could network, join a task force, and then because of KSAC's connections, we have made networks and connections with some of the top people in the society. It's never where you're coming from.
Okay, hold on now. Hold up. Wait, Sherry. You're living a comfortable life because your mother worked her way up and moved to Kingston, right?
Yeah.
Did your mother have the resource of land to be able to invest and work her way up from something?
Of land? My mother sent herself to school by working.
Yes, based on the farming. You said you come from a farming community where your mother worked her way up. The point is, she had some form of resource that enabled her to be able to do that. It's not everybody who has the resources. It's not an excuse. It's a fact. Being poor is a crime. In case you never know, I'm telling you the truth. I cannot go out and network if I can't afford to go. You said that I don't need money, whichever way you put it, to get to whatever organization, apologies for making it sound that way, they actually had to spend money or had someone who was willing to take them. To get there, they have to spend money. It's sometimes, do you know how many persons in my community, if they have $100 for the day, they have to feed like 2, 3, 4 different persons apart from themselves? If you can't afford to eat, how are you going to afford to network?
All right, Shoshana and Tristan, y'all have, very good points, very solid. But this brings us back to the fact that we need to educate the poor people so it's not a crime. And there is a way to educate the poor people, so it's not too expensive. It's not just about being book smart. You have street smart, you have just the general things, because not everything in life you can learn from a book.
Not just educating them, but educating them the right way.
Exactly.
You have book smart, you have the chemistry, the physics, the biology, the math. But there are some people who, no matter how hard you try, they will never get it. Or they will never use it, because not everybody's trying to be a scientist, not everybody's trying to be a doctor. I'm pretty sure that there are people in your community who are more talented than some of us will ever be. Speaking about finance, why is financial literacy not a major push in schools? Why is it that we allow people to leave school not knowing how to open a bank account, not knowing how to pay taxes, not knowing about a mortgage, rent? Why is it that we allow people to leave schools being financially illiterate?
In my case, I may be disabled now, but when I was going to high school, I used to go to Mergrove. Regarding whether or not the education system is outdated, I think they keep changing the syllabuses and things like that too often. And the fact that the teachers don't take the time out to teach anybody anything, they send you to buy the textbook or you should go Google it or something. There's no personal interaction or relationship between students and teachers and parents nowadays. When I was going to school, I give trouble. They go to the grade 7 year coordinator. If I'm a 7th grade and nothing happens, the grade 7 coordinator goes to the principal and the principal takes up the phone and say, I need to see you. Your child has potential, but they're going astray and stuff like that. That is the difference between when I was going to school and to my understanding of school nowadays. There's no interaction between students and teachers nowadays.
You know what I think that is? Because school is a business. They don't care if you learn, they just know that they get your school fee, they get your, no, not school fee, I'm sorry, they get your contribution at the beginning of every year. They get their PTA deposit, they get everything.
And don't forget the miscellaneous
The miscellaneous fees. And they don't care if you know it or not. That's exactly why it is their business, they don't care about you.
Especially at GSAT level, there's a great push for extra lessons. And then so what would happen is you come to class, and you do your work in class, and then you hear, because you didn't go to extra lessons on Saturday, you missed something and then it wasn't taught in class. And these extra lessons aren't free.
No, they're not.
And so in a sense, not in a sense, you're being cut out of getting what was taught in that extra lessons on the basis that you can't afford it.
Especially if you cannot afford the basic cost of going to the regular school. Imagine the extra lessons. Sometimes they have Saturday class, they have special classes that you have to go to afterwards. And even the lunch money, you have some persons who really cannot afford it. And sometimes in some of these communities, you do have where the member of parliament might actually do provide assistance by giving some of these parents the grants. And it's sad to see that some of the parents actually sell some of these grants because they want the money. And then when it's time for school, September, you see some of these children sitting down, not attending school because some of the parents don't see the value of the education.
Because they weren't taught the value of education.
That was a heated and informative discussion, but now it's social media time.
Jamaica.
I am here for you and you for me. So I will always love you, even through the hard times. If ever you need me, I'll be
Some moments
there.
last a lifetime. This moment is brought to you by National Cream Crackers.
It's a wow scholarship! Cranwata, in association with TalkUp, donates 3 $100,000 scholarships to 3 deserving youth to enhance their educational and professional development. Cranwata, supporting youth with wow scholarships. Water with wow!
The solutions that I have to some of these issues are pretty simple. Okay, first and foremost, regarding building an infrastructure, Whether it's the school or the workplace, build ramps and rails and stuff like that. All right, when it comes on to lack of career opportunities, the government needs to partner with corporate enterprises as well, where you have apprenticeships and internships for the academics, right? And apprenticeships for the skilled persons. Those are some of the solutions I think would really help.
Educate our students and teachers about these devices, about the problems that could come from these devices, educate them on how to use these devices.
An easy solution to the expensive cost of education is homeschool. My 4 little brothers are homeschooled, and that way my mom saves money on gas and lunch money, on school fee, and you make sure that each of them get the individual attention and they learn the things thoroughly.
My solution is, as much as it looks like it's like things are changing or it changes too quickly, it does need to change for the simple fact that our society is changing. Our curriculum needs to change. We need to be a more forward-thinking society. Where are we? Where do we measure up? And finally, another solution is financial literacy. You were right when you said poor is a crime. You were right. Why do we allow students to leave high school not knowing about the basics that they'll need to survive? Financial literacy is essential.
My solution is really in response to the cost of education. While there are many persons in the inner city and other communities who are underprivileged, we need to increase the investment in education. And I'm not just saying or pointing fingers at the government, but we have persons and exceptions who have made it out of these communities. We have corporate executives, we have athletes, we have entertainers, and many of them have made it successfully from some of these communities. Helping to reach back to some of these communities to invest in education as our human resource is key for the future development of the country would definitely help. In addition to this, teachers, we need to invest more in our teachers and the leadership, because the leaders in our country are the leaders in the schools are the ones who will really take charge of the responsibility of supporting some of these children, especially those from those schools, the underprivileged schools who need the support. We need to invest in our teachers, and we also need to provide more programs designed to recruit some of our graduates, not just the summer internship where you just come in for the summer and you leave. Programs designed to train the students and to keep them there employed within the organization.
And before I forget, most importantly, despite networking and everything, you need to hire a person based on their qualification and the potential that they have to produce, because without productivity, there's no driving force in the business. Employ people because they can produce and not because who they know.
Another significant solution can really be job fairs, where professionals, not only doctors and lawyers, but people from careers we may not even know about, can come in and speak to youth about their different options. Maybe even TalkUp you could have one.
Yeah. Well, my solution is support entrepreneurs. Create an environment where you can go and really start a business. I'm really happy you said a new subject has been introduced that is entrepreneurship. We need more stuff like that. Or the thing is that we have businesses closing every single day, not because their products and services aren't good, but because we go outside Jamaica to find our products and services. Guys, support the Jamaicans. With everything being said, we had some great solutions, but now it's time for a celebrity interview.
I hope you guys are hearing us okay. We're calling you on the cell phone.
Have you ever been to Jamaica before? And if yes, how did you like it?
I've never been to Jamaica before, but I really want to go. And I'm sure that if I went, I would like it. This is China. If I could change where I was from, I would be from Jamaica.
This is a show for the youth, by the youth, and what would you like the younger generation to learn?
Well, this is Lauren. And I think I would like you guys to learn that no matter what you look like and no matter what social media might say about you, we were all made in our own special way, and that we're beautiful no matter what anybody else says, and that we're all special, even if we're not famous or not actresses or not singers or people, not everybody's talking about us. We have our own special talents and our own special way. You're special no matter what anybody says. This is Sierra speaking. Sometimes it's hard, not to sound, cliche when we talk about these things, but we mean them in the most literal way possible. It's perfectly okay for you to have boundaries and stick to them. You know, and in this day and age, it's difficult to look on TV and to look on social media and to really accept that. But it is perfectly okay for you to have morals and values and to embrace your spirituality and be just as successful as you want to be. You can have both. It's very possible.
I would probably want this generation to learn to dream. Like, you're never too young to do what you want to do. And I think that that's something that we're very proud of is that we've done what we love at a very young age.
How important is it to talk up and let your voice be heard?
Well, this is Lauren, and I think especially as, you know, us as the youth, as being young people, I think our opinions about certain things aren't, you know, taken as seriously as maybe an adult's opinion about. But I think a lot of kids have a lot of insight, especially when it comes to like bullying and stuff like that. I think it's really because I was bullied in school, and it's one of the reasons that I was taken out of school and I was homeschooled. You know, because I really didn't feel like in school I had, you know, as much of a voice as, you know, maybe the kids who were popular or the kids who had a lot of money. You know, I didn't really feel like I could stand up to those kids and you know, talk about what I believe to be true because I was being picked on and just being bullied. So I think it's very important for kids to feel like they can do that no matter who they're talking to. I think, and this is Sierra talking, I think that the development of technology has exposed us to a lot more, and this generation to a lot more. So we're not stupid. Like, we know what we want, and we very much so have a strong opinion on our life, and not just our lives and what we want, but what we want to see, like what we want to see on TV, what we want to see in the media, what we want of the world. Just like you six on this panel.
What are some of the keys to your success?
I know for a fact, I can speak for all three of us when I say it's our spirituality and our foundation. We have a very personal, intimate relationship with God, and our parents gave us that very young. And so we know that that's why we're here doing what we do. We know that that's where all of our successes and all of our opportunities come from.
How do you think education could be changed for the benefit of the youth?
Subjects like art and music are just kind of like, yeah, well, you know, they're optional. And I feel like those should really be capitalized on as well, and they should be as important as what people look at as the main subjects, like math and things like that. This is Sierra speaking. It's important for schools to start tapping into each child and figuring out where that talent lies and helping them to create a life and a career based on what they already have in them. Thanks for having us, guys. Talk up, youth!
Talk up, youth, Mr. Talk up, youth.
We have to build the youths, the TalkUp Youth in Jamaica.
TalkUp Youth is powered by National Baking Company in association with Cranwata, a Stanley and Empress production, giving the youth a voice.